Everybody, Horseman here, and today I'm bringing to you the video that I've been saying I was going to do for a while. I have taken delivery. It was quite the ordeal, but I have taken delivery of the M40i. This is in Portimao blue with cognac interior, and I got as many of the bells and whistles that I honestly wanted. So this has been a fantastic upgrade so far, and since I took delivery, I have also gotten paint protection film and a ceramic coating, and I've also rebadged it, as you will see later in this video. But regardless though, I wanted to do this video as a means of comparing, contrasting the 30i versus the M40i, of course, and let y'all decide on whether or not it's really worth it. So in my previous video, I did a 12-month daily driver review where I had talked about how much I absolutely loved the Z4, and in even the 30i, it was quick, it was responsive, it was a lot of fun to drive. It's just been an absolute joy to own for the last 2.5 years. But then, of course, you know, as opportunities happen, I had the ability to upgrade to the M40i, and I have to say, I'm absolutely so incredibly thrilled to be able to do it. So let's talk about all the different things that I love about the car and why I feel it was worth the upgrade. Alright, so new to the LCI are these wheels here. I absolutely wanted to change out the wheels because as much as I love the orbital grays, they were a pain in the butt to clean, so I wanted to go something a little bit different. So what you're looking at here are the V-spokes that are new with the LCI, and one of the things that I could not tell with the builder was the fact that these are matte. They are not gloss black or anything like that. And I will say they are still rather dirty. Gotta love BMW and its brake dust issues, but especially because these are still new and everything. But they are a lot easier to clean in the sense that there's not a lot of small little areas to get in there and to be able to clean. But of course, with the M40i, also got the red calipers, which you can see here, and they're quite big. So, and they look great, especially with the red on the blue, the contrast. That's what I was really going for, and I really do like it. Kind of gives that Superman feel to it. This time around, instead of getting the Michelin Sport Pilots, Super Sport Pilots, I forgot what they were called, we ended up getting the Continentals. So far so good. I don't feel a whole lot of slippage. They handle well, but I also don't think that they're going to be lasting very long. I ended up putting some metal stem caps just for looks. I like them. Another thing I really like is the way the rear looks. The diffuser is completely different, so are the exhaust pipes. What we have here are the exhaust pipes that are shaped much like some of the interior pieces, like the dash. Well, not really the dash, but the infotainment screen and the door handles and things like that from the interior. So we got that kind of BMW shape to it. And with this also comes a much better sound. And I think that was the main reason why I wanted to upgrade to the M40i, was simply because of how good it sounds compared to the 30i. You'll notice that I do have gloss black badging. In the US, this is not an option that comes when you build it. These are aftermarket, and had to go with it. I felt that they looked a lot better with the Portima Blue than the cerium that it comes with it. Okay, the only other real difference is how the dashboard looks. Now we actually have Z4 M40i up on top there, and it just adds a little bit of a aesthetic feel to it. It's nothing really crazy. I personally like it, you know, but we didn't have anything like that in the 30i. All right, let's go for a drive. Okay. So we're gonna take a quick drive. I'm gonna go find a parking lot after said drive. But one of the things that I wanted to go ahead and do is show you the difference between a Sport Plus startup versus a comfort mode startup while it's warm. When it's cold, it sounds very similar, so there's not that much of a significant difference. But this is comfort. Sounds good. It grumbles a little bit, and I know I had the camera kind of behind, like right behind the exhaust, but there's a difference because you're going to be hearing it more so from the perspective of your car seat. So you want to make sure that, yeah, if you want to know how it sounds, then this is the video to do that. So all right, now Sport Plus. So it sounds beefier, sounds a little bit more throaty, got some more burbles and pops in there, and it sounds really good. Now, one of the things that I have noticed is that the M40i is a lot bumpier than the 30i. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it's a sports car. I mean, it's supposed to do that, right? It's a sporty car, however you want to classify it. And so, of course, it's going to be bumpier. It's a stiffer suspension, but I noticed that it doesn't really change that much between the different modes. Overall though, the handling of the car is the same as the 30i. It's just very quick, it's very responsive. Where you want it to go, it's gonna go. I've never had an issue feeling like the car is gonna be a little bit squirrely or whatever. I mean, wherever you point this steering wheel, those tires are gonna go exactly there and the car is going to follow. It feels like that there is a very good weight distribution between the front and the back, and from what I understand, the M40i is a 51 to 49, if I'm not mistaken, and you feel it. I mean, you really do. I've never felt like I was gonna lose control, even in the 30i. Anytime that I took a corner, even when I went with the all seasons tires, I always felt like I had full control over the car, and it felt fantastic. And honestly, the 40i is no difference. If I had to tell, say, yeah, here are the major significant differences between the 30i and the 40i, I'm going to tell you right now that there's not a whole lot. Other than the obvious things, 382 horsepower V6 inline, I'm sorry, not the V6, inline 6 twin power turbo versus the 255 horsepower inline 4 with the twin power turbo. Those are obviously the big differences between the car, and other than that, I don't feel a whole lot. The M40i just, it feels like it has more attitude, it has a more aggressive stance, it sounds more aggressive for all of the obvious reasons. Aesthetically, there's of course not that much of a difference either, because of the fact that the 30i here in the United States can get the sports package, which adds much of the same like brake vent flares and and like the M badging here and there. Other than that, there's really not a whole lot of difference between the two trims. Now, of course, the big differences are going to be if you see someone with the chrome grille, that's obviously going to be the SDrive 30i. If you see someone with the cerium grille, that is obviously going to be an M40. But if they have the shadow line, the black grille, it's hard to really tell between the two trims. You have to look at the badging in the back, or you have to look at the exhaust and the diffuser. Those are really the only ways to be able to tell what the differences between the two. All right, so gone over quite a few things already today. I definitely wanted to show you all how the exhaust sounded. I wanted you to know, in between the two different modes, because really that's going to be one of the biggest differences between the M40i and the SDrive 30i. Obviously, barring the differences in the engine itself, right, and the speed by which you can get up and get going. But having owned the 30i for so long, I have to say that if you have the means to get the M40i, then by all means do it. Go for it. I think it is well worth it, especially if you're an enthusiast. You like to get the best of the best. I am that kind of a person where if I really like something, I want to make sure that I get the best of the best. I want to get all the bells and whistles. I want to get the best trim and stuff like that. It's just how I feel, and it's just something that the way I've always been, even in gaming and whatnot. So it's just a personal choice of mine. But if I had to objectively compare the two vehicles, the 30i versus the M40i, I'd say that, and all that really mattered was how well it handled, how, and if you're not a speed demon, you don't have a lead foot, then the 30i is more than enough, especially when you consider that there was an almost $20,000, like anywhere between $10,000 to $20,000 difference. Now, mind you, my 30i was not fully loaded. I didn't have the upgraded sound system. I didn't have the adaptive suspension. I didn't have the calipers or anything like that. I didn't have the shadow line, so I had a fairly basic model of the 30i, and I took it out the door at about 53 grand. The M40i, on the other hand, was about 75. So there is quite a bit of a difference. So if you can justify that difference in price, of course, then by all means, don't go for it. You know, you only live once, right? So if you have the opportunity to do it, I'd say that the M40i is well worth it. But logically speaking, objectively speaking, there's not a whole lot that drives the need or the necessity of an M40i. But it sure as hell is fun. Subjectively, it looks good, it feels good, and it feels great on the road, and it makes me feel good knowing that I was able to do it. This is truly my dream car. I've been looking to scheme a way to get to upgrade from the 30i to the M40i for a little over a year, and here we are today. All right, so I'm going to close this out with some additional driving on the back roads, and hopefully the videos aren't too bumpy. All right, so for the last part of this video, I'm gonna do so with the top up. I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now while I am stopped. There you go. And we're gonna go find another parking lot and do some sweet shots of the body. All right, here we go. To give you an understanding on how the car sounds with the top up, I have noticed that, and I'm pretty sure it's just the tires, there does seem to be a little bit more road noise than the SDrive 30i. Again, this is my first experience with the Continentals, so the Michelin Sport Pilots were different. They weren't super quiet, but they weren't super loud either, and I have noticed, especially depending on the road that I'm on, there is a significant amount of road noise, top up or top down. Like this black road here is a lot louder, but then when it changes the road, it's not as loud. Even with the top up, you can still hear the burbles when you let go of the gas. Now, how much of that is being fed through the speakers as opposed to what you're actually hearing through the top, I couldn't tell you. Now, one thing I will say is that this is the Moonlight top. It is not the basic black top. I did have the basic black top in the 30i, and it was just as quiet. It was very quiet. I don't think that there's a major difference in the sound quality compared to the two different types. The Moonlight top, which is what I have on this car, was a $250 option, and I got it because I felt like it was a little bit better of a material, and although it does kind of appear gray depending on the lighting, depending on where you are, the time of day, etc., most other times it just looks like a shiny black top, and I just like the way it looks. It does appear that it's a little bit better quality of a material, but time will tell on that one. I've seen some people who have their cars for quite some time. They don't see as many creases in the top, and that was kind of already an issue with the straight black top. And I'm not sure if that was just simply because I drive most of the time with the top down. I mean, I rarely ever put the top up. Even when it's really cold, I put the top up. The only time I really put the top up is when it's too hot. I don't like being hot. See if I can get some downshifts so that way you can hear. can still hear the burbles and whatnot. Still very loud in sport mode. And even in comfort mode, which I'll put it in right now, it still sounds good. You don't get the burbles. Every now and then you will, like on startup, for instance, you'll get some of the burbles in the pops, but you're not going to get them when you downshift or when you let go of the throttle, which is a good thing. So again, it's one of those things, if the pops and the burbles end up becoming a little bit too much for you, which admittedly it does get a little too much, then put it in a sport mode, or just configure that in your sport individual, and you can still enjoy the joys of having sport mode, but without the nuisance of the constant bubble. It's all about personal preference. Honestly, if I'm going to be in sport mode, I'm gonna want to listen to the burbles. So, and I do find myself in sport mode quite a bit, simply because I love the way it sounds. Another thing that I noticed is that I hear rocks going into the wheel wells a lot more often. A couple times this is not something that I experienced with the 30i. It wasn't very loud, so I was really surprised to see that, or to hear that it was so significantly loud. It's even forced me to pull over a couple times, because I felt like I lost one of my stem caps, or ended up taking a rock to the side, so I wanted to take a look. Looks like we got a fog rolling in. Well, all right, that pretty much sums this video up, and I hope that you did enjoy it, and I hope that you found it very informative. If there's any questions, comments, or concerns that you might have, please post it in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to either answer it there, or if it warrants its own video, I'll go ahead and do that as well. I really enjoyed this car so far, and I do plan on doing a 1-year follow-up just to say this is what it's like having an M40 after 1 full year. But that probably is going to be a long time in the making. I'm going to be paying much attention to all the small details and whatnot as I go along. But yep, loving it so far. All right, well, I'm just going to follow up with remote start. And until next time, Horseman out.